Well, dear, I thought that I would write you a letter on the other piece of the airplane wing. I got this on the Cambria front off a German plane that came down. This letter was written in the First World War by our great-grandfather, Edward Eiley. It was discovered by my brother, Robert, in a box of family heritage items, photographs, and diaries. My mom confirmed that it was a letter written home to her mother, Bernice Eiley, during the First World War from her father. The letter is simple, written to a 3 to 4-year-old daughter, stating that Edward was on a leave. He wrote the letter on the fabric of a German biplane that came down. He's sending home a pocket watch to her and her sister. He's hoping the war is coming to an end. They're moving on to Italy, and he asks her to be a good girl for Mama. Good night, dear, from Dada. We've learned who our great-grandfather is. There are not a lot of stories about him. He became very quiet after the war. That's common when soldiers return from war.
This is 100 years since the start of the First World War in 2014. And we knew that there would be renewed interest, hopefully renewed interest by the public in the First World War, because it's something that's now passed out of living memory. And we want people to remember that time period in their history because it was very important for the development of Canada. The exhibit Wild Rose Overseas, Albertans in the Great War is on until December, and it's a 2,500 square foot exhibit which talks about all of Alberta and their participation in the First World War. We've got about 350 objects in the exhibit, so there's lots of things to see, and it's not just going to be an exhibit of badges and medals. There's all kinds of unique and interesting objects that you probably haven't seen before. Most people in Canada have some sort of a connection to the First World War, whether or not they know it. So hopefully this inspires people to learn a little bit more about their own family's participation in the First World War.
We've donated the letter, the pocket watch. We've donated the official military photograph of my great-grandfather, and we've donated a Gurkha knife. I think because Alberta's history is young compared to when you look at Ontario and Quebec. So I think it's important that we start developing and showing the stories of that the West actually did play a role in Canada becoming an independent nation. Although I never met him, I feel like I know him very well now, and I'm glad to be his great-grandson.